allow me to express a bias before I get into the substance of this podcast. I like money. I like to have more money than I need. I like to have money so that I can buy what I want when I want it. I like to go to sleep at night, and sleep peaceably because I know I have plenty of money in the bank. So this is why I was shocked at our election that inflation, which everyone said was the number one issue, I was shocked to realize it wasn't. It wasn't even in the top 10 for Americans. Take it for example up in Michigan. White women said as clearly as you can imagine, they would rather kill more babies than solve inflation. That was the number one issue for them. And I could go across the country with the same type of stuff. I asked myself, how could this be? We all know that inflation exists. We see the higher prices. I think I know the answer. Because we may see it, we may not like it, but the reality is we're not suffering yet. It's not painful yet, but it's going to be. There is coming a moment for the majority of Americans when they're not going to have enough money for what they need. They're not going to have enough money to buy what they want when they want it. They're going to go or find it impossible to sleep at night because maybe they lost their job and they don't know if they're going to have enough money a month down the road. That is genuine pain, which most Americans simply they're just not there yet. I went out to eat with some friends last night at a really nice restaurant, had reservations, and still had to wait a long time. I made the comment to my friends, there's no recession here. And so everybody hated the high prices they paid for that meal. However, there wasn't pain because we still have enough money. You need to realize the Federal Reserve, which is now, after this election, that's our only hope for solving inflation. And they have only one solution, which is raising interest rates. In an article in the Wall Street Journal, quote, the Federal Reserve is aggressively lifting interest rates to combat inflation. Hoping, love that word used in this context, hoping they will curb hiring, spending, and investment, end quote. Three ingredients of a healthy economy: our spending, consuming, companies hiring a lot of people, and investment from people who have capital. This is how you grow an economy, and it's the Fed's goal to shut this down, my friends. And what's going to happen is you're going to see the employment rate go up. A lot of terrible things are going to happen. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and pain is going to set in. But the problem? The election is over. If there had been a red wave, there might have been some things Congress could have done to help inflation. Let me give you one example. I find it interesting. The New York Times had an article yesterday, the day after the election. Here's the title. The price of diesel, which powers the economy, is still climbing. We're totally dependent on these trailer trucks to bring us our stuff. And every one of them use diesel fuel. Now, climate change policy has shut down any possibility of new refineries, and old refineries are closing day after day. Now, the good news for all of us and the world is that in the Middle East and China, they are building refineries. Yeah, we'll be dependent on China again for an essential component of our economy. Way to go, Americans.